Today we're going to be working on proving triangle congruence using angle, angle, side. First thing we're going to do is trace segment AB on a piece of paper. I'm just going to trace it using my tools here, and then I'm going to move it over here. Next, we're going to use one end of the segment as the vertex for the given angle A. So this is angle A. We're going to use one end of the segment for this vertex. So this was my point A from the segment, and then this is vertex A. So what I'm going to do is just move the angle up so the end point of my vertex A is the same as the vertex here for this angle. Next, we're going to place angle C with one ray overlapping angle A so that the other ray will intersect point B if extended. Okay, so in order for me to have angle C overlapping a ray with angle A, I had to rotate my figure just a little bit. So now I'm going to overlap the rays like this, and you can see as I move it, the rays will eventually intersect with point B. So I'm going to leave it right about here. And then you can see if I extended it, it would form a triangle. So if we were together, you would be able to compare your triangle to your neighbors to see if they are the same. And they should be the same. Here's why. If you look at angle A, no matter what, this angle is going to have the same degree measure no matter how you rotate it. Same with angle C. No matter how you rotate this angle, angle C will always maintain the same degrees. So if I'm using these angles and I overlap them in some form on this segment, no matter what, my triangles will always have the same angles here. The only thing that might change with this situation is how far you overlap your rays right here. That might make the sides a little bit smaller, but in regards to the angles will be the same. So this leads us to the angle, angle, side theorem, which states if any two angles and the non-included side of two triangles are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. So let's take a look at a couple examples using some congruency statements with angle, angle, side. So notice we have an angle here that's congruent to this angle, and then angle A would be congruent to angle N, and then they both have a common side. So if I start at angle W and move in this direction, I'm going to name this triangle WAC. How would you name the second triangle? Because I started at the angle with the W, I'm going to start at the triangle with angle H and move in the same direction towards the angle with the two arc marks. So if I start here and move this direction and continue that pattern around, you would name the second triangle HNP. For letter B, it looks like we might be missing an angle, but we know these types of angles are vertical angles. So we can label those as vertical, which will give me angle, angle, side with angle, angle, side. So if I name the first triangle, triangle YFE, how would you name the second triangle? I first started at the angle with one arc mark and moved towards the center with the two and then towards the segment. So you would do that same pattern on the other side. So we'd start here, move towards the center and then towards the segment. So your second triangle should be named triangle VFC. In example C, we have two angles. So angle, 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 but no side that's marked. Hopefully you can see that there's a shared side in the middle, which we can use for both triangles because of the reflexive property of congruence. So this makes triangle PKM congruent to triangle PKZ. Notice in letter D, we have these arrows here. This means that HX is parallel to RB. What kind of angles can we mark with parallel lines? We can mark alternate interior angles. So I've already marked those here. And then these triangles have a common side or a shared side. So that means that triangle XHR is congruent to triangle BRH. So now we're going to use angle side to prove that triangle WKT, so WKT is congruent to WDT. So first we're given that angle K is congruent to angle D. Next, we're given angle KWD. So KWD is this larger angle here, is bisected by segment WT. So when we have a segment that's bisecting the angles, that means that this segment is cutting this angle exactly in half. So that means that this angle, which is KWT, is going to be congruent to the other angle, which is going to be DWT. Next, we'll notice that in the proof, the statement has to do with something being congruent to segment WT. Well, WT is here, and the only thing that would be congruent to WT would be TW because of the reflexive property of congruence. So now we have an angle that's congruent, another set of angles that are congruent, and a side that they share, which is congruent. So now we can prove that WKT is congruent to WDT by the angle-side triangle congruence theorem.